Welcome back, everyone. This is ultralavos. Rating Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So let's just jump right into this. This game's pretty fresh in my mind. I've been playing it, attempting to speed run it. So let's get into this. Unfairness. For the most part, it's a fair game. The only real issues I have is the hit detection, collision. Sometimes it feels like you should be jumping on the enemy, but you still take damage. Sometimes you kill them as you're taking damage. It's just a little wonky. Other than that, though, and like some of the random and difficult patterns of some of the enemies, I'd say it's pretty fair. I would have to go with an 8. Level design, nothing too fancy in here. There's a little bit of variety. The final stage and the bonus stage are very similar, just with different textures, but it's basically a maze where you climb up. Occasionally you go down in the last one, but in that first level, I mean, there's no pits, no platforms to jump on. They put bosses in there. That's good. It's short. 4 levels, then that bonus level if you wait around on the credits. So 6 on level design. Theme and story, I think it's actually pretty decent. It's nothing super fantastic, but they rolled with the whole Killer Tomatoes theme, and they're trying to destroy, take over the world, whatever. I liked how they used it. I'd have to go with an 8 there. Maybe a 7. I don't think it's worth it. 8. 7 maybe. They do have the cutscenes, stuff like that. So yeah, I'll give it a 7. Reliable controls. They're very reliable. The physics is a little wonky, but once you get the hang of it, it's fairly reliable. I may have to give that a 9. I mean, yeah. Controls are probably the best thing about the game. It controls good, and that's you really want that in a game. And, A is jump and B is run, so, that's good. So now, awesome factor. Nothing that really jumps out at you. It's cool, but I don't think there's very many people that are like, man, I just can't wait to go back and play Attack of the Killer Tomatoes again, It's still cool. If you're a big fan of the cartoon, this awesome factor may be a little higher for you. I mean, at least they did a good job on it as far as it being a licensed property, and they didn't just make a shit game. So I'd have to say the awesome factor is a 6. 6 seems about right. Longevity, it's going to be a 6 too. It's slightly above average. There's enough there to make you want to finish the game if you're not getting too frustrated with it, just to see what the levels are if you've never played through it, or to see if you can get through it. As far as long-term longevity, not so much. The only reason I'm still playing it is because it seemed like a good game to try speed running for the first time. So, and the controls are decent, so yeah. So 6 on longevity. Now accessibility, I'd say that gets an 8. A new player could just pick this game up, start playing it, play around with the buttons, figure it out. There's nothing too complicated. Like I said, the controls are reliable. Maybe figuring out that you actually picked up rocks before you fight that boss and how to beat them there in the sewers, and figuring out that you got to hit that switch in the factory. But other than that, yeah, I'd say it's an 8 as far as that goes. Visuals and graphics, the backgrounds are kind of repetitive. The sprite of the main character is kind of cool. I like that. The enemies are nothing too fancy. There's some cool stuff going on. That very end scene's pretty neat in the cutscenes. I'd have to say a 7, visual and graphics. They put a little bit of effort into it. But I'm really somewhere between a 6 and a 7, but I'll be nice and round it up. Originality, it's a platformer. They added some stuff. Well, let's go with a 6. They did good with their licensing. And they tried to make some cool elements with the different styles of boss battles. I really wish you would have kept those rocks, though. But I mean, it's a platformer, but it's not super generic. They did some things to make it cool. Cooler, I guess. So, yeah. If it didn't have any kind of license, just generic characters and enemies without trying to do anything, maybe lower, but I'll give it a 6. Sound and music, I really want to give it an 8 for the music, because the music is really good. Good variety. No songs in there that I hated. I enjoyed all of them. It's not like top tier music, but surprisingly good for a title that's as lesser known as this game is. But there's that sound when you're walking constantly. And that's what's great about, jumping constantly, is you don't have to listen to that sound. If it wasn't for that sound, I'd give it an 8. But that's enough to drive me to the point of giving it a 7. So that is the score and all the categories here. So let's add that up and see what we got. We got 21 with our 7s, and then 24 with our 6s. That's 45. 2 8s. That's 61. And then a 9. So is that a 7.0? Is that a flat 7.0? I believe so. So, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Final rating by ultralavos. It's a 7.0. It's a respectable score. Means it's not a amazing, great game, but as far as games based on licensed properties, it's probably going to be up there. I mean, it's no DuckTales, but not even close to, oh man, I need to rate that one because I played through it. I may get to that soon, but yeah, 7.0 is very respectable for a game that was based on a television show, at least back in that era when most of them were just garbage. This has been ultralavos rating Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. See you all next game.